Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn.
E is exhaling, having an opportunity to breathe, to rest, to refill yourself and rejuvenate yourself, because no one can pour from an empty cup.
As you evolve and become more of yourself, you begin to attract the people that are there for you.
Amen.
So everything you need is in this space.
You have to learn from your mistakes. Once you make a mistake, sit down, recoup, and then start over. And once you do that, you say, I got that.
See, Juneteenth means to me, I would definitely say empowerment and education.
When I experience it, it's like just coming together and, being a part of something bigger than myself,
A new start, starting a new chapter, opportunity, new beginnings, all of that.
Hey everyone, my name is Alyssa Luce and welcome to a special Lunch and Learn YouTube Live. Boy, do we have a special treat for you today. Our guest speaker is none other than the fantastic Debra Dixon-Anderson, founder and CEO of Light of Gold PR, Marketing and Consulting LLC. Debra is going to share her expertise on how to boost sales this holiday season with over 18 years of PR and marketing experience under her belt. So grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready to take some notes because Debra is about to drop some serious knowledge. Let's bring her up to the stage and welcome her by dropping some hearts in the chat. Hi, Debra. Welcome. How are you doing? Would you please start by telling everyone a little bit about yourself?
Hi. Can you hear me? Good. Hey, Alyssa. Hey, everybody. I'm Debra Dixon-Anderson from Light of Gold PR, and have about 18 years experience. Been around for a while, and worked in PR, marketing, branding. Oh, I'm going to take my earpiece out. There's
Unmute yourself, and then you can start talking. So let's try that again. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I can still hear the reverb on my side, but it's all good. It's better now. So Debra Dixon-Anderson from Light of Gold PR, and I'm excited to be on this live today, this Lunch and Learn about holiday sales. I've done everything from press to branding to digital to events, plan a lot of events, and a lot of social media marketing, a lot of press. So I feel like I could definitely help some of our listeners and watchers with their holiday sales or their marketing in general.
Okay, I'm excited.
Listeners and watchers with.
I would really enjoy to hear about what truly inspired you to get started with Gold Wellness Circle and Gold Lifestyle Investments Hosting LLC. And how do they complement the services offered by Light of Gold PR, Marketing and Consulting? Complement the services offered by Light of Gold and Consulting.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Offered by Light
I'm
of
gonna need you to repeat that. I'm getting an echo on my end. I don't know why. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
All right, let's try that again. So I wanted to know about what inspired you to start Gold Wellness and Gold Circle Lifestyle Investment. So I wanted to know about what inspired you to start Gold Wellness?
So I'm going to Alyssa, I'm going to refresh the StreamYard. I'm going to come out and come back in so that maybe the reverb will go away. Alyssa, I'm going to refresh the StreamYard.
Let's give her all a second to come back. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's joined in to watch the live. And if you're watching the recording, drop a heart or tag somebody in the comments who you think we should interview next, right? Somebody doing something in the people of color community and people who are doing things for Black-owned businesses, right? So let's give her a second to come on back, and we're going to play a commercial. So yes, everyone, Juneteenth 2024 is on the way. And if you haven't already checked out our website to apply as a vendor, as a sponsor, or even be a part of the Juneteenth board, those applications are open now. So make sure you visit our website, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram at Juneteenth NY or Juneteenth New York. And like and share our content to bring awareness of what Juneteenth New York is doing, right? We're really bringing the truth out of where our ancestors came from. What was it like being a person of color before we had rights, before we experienced the astronomical Juneteenth history that we are learning about here today, right? So let's see if Debra came back on. Let's give her 1 second to see if she came through on the back end. Keisha, any updates on Debra? Let's see what she said. She's not back yet. All right. Sometimes things like this happens. You know, we can't always control the internet. It's not something in our control. But if you guys do enjoy things like this, right? Live interviews, learning, and just taking time to learn about Juneteenth, make sure you check out previous episodes of Lunch and Learn, because I know we've done plenty of interviews with very successful entrepreneurs and people doing things in the community. You could even check out my interview that was done last year. So we're gonna do one more. Oh, we're gonna bring it back up. Here you go. Hi, Debra.
Hello. Oh my gosh, that's so much better.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you. So Alyssa, please, if you could repeat that last question for me, I'd appreciate it.
No problem. I'm actually gonna change up the question because I want to know if you could speak on the importance of social media in today's marketing landscape, right? How does this expect leverage these platforms to bring traffic to their website and get sales? Like, what should businesses really focus on?
So I think that social media is extremely important, but honestly, I think that having a plan is really important, because a lot of times we throw our information out there, we just roll it out on all the social media. We expect to get traffic, connections, sales, exposure, and we don't have any rhyme, reason, or plan behind it. So I think it's really important to make sure that you have an overall plan for your marketing, and that should include your social media and your digital marketing. The other thing that's really important is to speak differently to different social media platforms, because we all consume our content differently. We might say one thing on Instagram one way, but then on TikTok, we would say it a different way. On Facebook, we would say it differently. And LinkedIn, we would say it differently. So I think it's really important to have like an overall strategy and plan for who you want to talk to, what you want to talk about, how you're going to talk to people. Are you going to include an audio clip? Are you going to include a video? Or are you just going to stream live like we are? So making sure you have a plan and a strategy for your content, what you want to roll out, what you want to sell, how you want to talk to people is going to be really important.
I agree as someone who puts out content. You know, I've learned that it doesn't get received the same all the time. So thank you for that tip for people who never even knew that was important, right? And I wanted to know if you can give a little advice, right? With the holiday season approaching very quickly, what are some of the top strategies businesses can use to increase their sales and boost visibility during this time of year?
Yeah, I think what we're looking at is we're going into Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all this good stuff, right? So this is a perfect time to sell a product or a service and to take advantage of all the traffic. We're going to see an uptick in social media traffic because the holidays are here. People are going to be more available. Thanksgiving, perhaps Black Friday, Small Business Saturday is coming up. So when you're creating your content, it's good to hashtag those different areas. Hashtag Black Friday, hashtag Small Business Saturday. Is really important to include those hashtags and to make sure that you're using them and making use of it. But the biggest thing is it's really important to know what you're trying to sell and who you're trying to sell to. Look at the time of day that you're creating your posts. When are you putting them out? But really taking some time. So we have Thanksgiving coming up next week, right? So with Thanksgiving coming up, say you have a sale on one of your products. You're going to have to hunker down this weekend and figure out what that content is going to be so you could integrate it into your social media for next week. Now, if you have done that already, kudos to you for thinking ahead. But if you haven't, it's still time because we have, Thanksgiving coming up. We have all the holidays coming up in December, and it's still a good time to take advantage of the uptick in traffic that's going to be happening.
I definitely agree on that. So I wanted to know, right, as the CEO and founder, not just CEO and founder of Light of Gold PR Marketing and Consulting, how has your company helped businesses succeed in their marketing efforts in the past?
I'm going to try my earpiece one more time to see if you could hear me. Can you hear me, Alyssa? No. So.
Unmute.
Okay, so I think what I'm most proud of with my business in the 17 years that I've been doing this is all the different ways that we've been able to help companies. There have been companies we've worked with who didn't understand why they needed to have a logo. And then we help them create a logo. We have a great graphic designer on our team, and so we work on creating the brand concepts and making sure we're understanding the brand so that we could create a good logo, and then creating a marketing strategy or a marketing plan and being able to really plan out into the future. I think it's important to look at a 60-day, 90-day plan. When I first started, it was all about like, you got to plan out for a year, 2 years, 3 years. But now our business plans and marketing plans have to be a little bit more fluid. You know what I mean? You have to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So educating a lot of my clients has really been important to me because sometimes they don't understand why they need certain things. Now, they may reach out to our company for one particular thing, but then we do an assessment, we consult with them, and we realize there's so many other broken pieces that need to be fixed that's going to impact how they can make sales. So if there aren't certain things in place, then that's going to hinder the sales being able to come in. And so we really try to look at that with our clients, and we're really proud of that kind of work that we've been able to do. So for us, it's not just executing the work, it's also the education and helping that client to be stronger and more capable and more confident. And so it's a lot bigger for us than just the services and making sure they're getting to their target market. That's part of it. But we also want them to be confident with the brand materials that we create for them maybe reinventing how they look, a lot more polished and professional. Maybe their company wants to now start working with corporate clients, and we are able and capable to help them reinvent their brand so that their brand can really stand side by side with other companies as they present their products and services to corporations. City agencies. Our company is certified to do business with city agencies as well as corporations. So we don't consult with anybody on anything that we don't know personally. So, we're very transparent about our own journey. And so we like to consult from the inside out, meaning that I'm going to be able to share with you what we've gone through and how we can help you to be able to do the same thing.
I definitely think it's important for brands to be transparent, right? Especially when you're trying to educate people, will have to learn to trust you, and I feel that's the best way to gain trust with a client. That's really great. We told you guys she was gonna bring the gems today. So I'm gonna go back to the original question, which was about Gold Wellness Circle and Gold Lifestyle Investments and Holidays LLC. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and how do they complement the services offered by Light of Gold PR Marketing and Consulting?
So I will start with Gold Lifestyle because that's our newest brand. And Gold Lifestyle Investments is really helping companies that need temporary space. There's a lot of underutilized space in New York City now. So we help, people who are doing a film or a TikTok video and they need an office, and we help them get the proper props in place, get the proper office, the look and feel and everything. And we like to help them with that. And then we can help them put it together or promote it if they're doing an event, or if they're doing a workshop. It could be a little bit of everything. So that brand is really the pivot to my pivot, right? Because, things changed in 2020 when COVID hit. A lot of us had to learn new ways of doing things. So a lot of what I had to do, just like everybody else, was educate myself on real estate or commercial real estate, residential. How can I add that as a companion piece to what I'm already doing? And so that's a very, very new brand for us, and we're excited to see how it's been able to help people already. So we've had, a lot of filmmakers come to us. We've helped them get their offices and, get set up for a half-day shoot or full-day shoot, a photographer. And so, and we've been able to do that in a very short period of time. So we're really excited about that brand, which is just a year old. So that's really been a good thing. Now, Gold Wellness Circle really started in response to COVID. And we can go back to 2020. Nobody wants to go back to 2020, right? But think about how we all felt at that time, the sadness, the depression, the grief that we were all experiencing, the lack of community that we were all experiencing. And so what I started to do, again, this is taking all of the skill sets that you have and that I'm licensed to teach Zumba. So I started teaching Zumba on Zoom. So, and then people would come. They would come. I said, okay, get your dance, get your gear on, be ready to work out, be ready to sweat. And then we just dance, for an hour on Zoom based on the schedule. And then we started attracting yoga teachers, and then we started attracting people who did meditation. And so we started to create a whole schedule to provide the community that a lot of people were missing. And then we started doing fundraisers with the American Cancer Society and with the Alzheimer's Association. We've done that virtually as well as in person once everything opened up and we could be in person. And so that just kind of morphed into a whole brand, a whole wellness brand. It is now a 501c3. Even though it started 3 years ago as an initiative, it is officially a nonprofit now. And so we love partnering with different organizations to raise awareness. And the reason why we partner with the American Cancer Society is because I'm a 5-year breast cancer survivor. So that's very important to me. I love to speak to caregivers on how they could take care of themselves and their own self-care and raise awareness. But the other thing with the Alzheimer's. My mother suffered from Alzheimer's before she passed away, so we always love to shed awareness about Alzheimer's and how important it is to take care of your family, but take care of yourself. And lastly, our last pillar for Gold Wellness Circle is food insecurity, because there's so many people who are dealing with food insecurity. So we love to partner with organizations to give back and provide food for people who need it, because we've seen a strong uptick in that since COVID began in 2020. So, yeah, thanks, Athenia. 5 years.
And the second question, just because those two brands sound like they're very powerful, right? Their impact is very big, and I love both of them, by the way. I'm a wellness coach myself, so I really appreciate that work that you're putting out there, because it is important for people to understand how important their health is. How do you use those two brands, right? Those two businesses to complement the Light of Gold PR and marketing consulting that you originally started with?
All of our brands, actually, both of those brands, thanks, Alyssa, they all need promotions, PR, branding. I coach a lot of small businesses, and sometimes businesses don't know what designation they need to be. Should I be a S Corp or a C Corp or LLC? Well, because of Light of Gold PR and all the work we've done with businesses and the coaching that we've done, we know that we had to set it up the right way, right? They all needed their own EIN number, their own bank accounts, their own everything. They have to be separate entities. But all of the brands that we create, they're going to need some PR marketing. So they all kind of work hand in hand with each other, and they all complement. And as you can see, everything that I do has gold in it. So I always like to make sure that the names of all the companies and my initiatives have gold in it. So
Thank you for clarifying that, right? Because sometimes people want to do really great things and they don't even know where to start, but clearly starting with the brand and the outline of it, right? You emphasize the plan is important. Have that in place so that way you can communicate it effectively to whatever customers you're looking for, right? So, all right, one of the areas you are covering. Hold on, you want to mute? One of the areas you'll be covering in your upcoming marketing holiday sales session is video content, right? So can you share a little bit of the tips for creating engaging video content that resonates with your customers and drive sales?
yes, definitely. So we do a lot of video. Our company does so much more video now, especially with the lives, but also including in the video the messaging that speaks to your target market is really important. And so we're very we really love to make sure that we include the proper images, the proper words that go along with the captions and the posts and everything. So we're very intentional about how we put that together. And I think it's important to put yourself in the place of the person who's viewing it. Like, are they going to see it the way you see it? Because sometimes when we put our content together, we're saying sometimes we use terms and acronyms that nobody else understands but you, because it's an industry thing. And that's something that we have to be very, very intentional about, defining what certain things are, just breaking down the language so that people can actually buy from you. But if you don't do that, if you don't make it as easy as possible, if you don't include links to how they can purchase something. I think so many people use their social media as their websites. I still believe in websites. We still create websites because you never know if something happens. And I actually was interviewed on Channel 5 about a year or two ago about the Facebook outage. And when Facebook went out, so did WhatsApp. Everything went out at the same time. So what happens? When you put everything, all your eggs in the basket of social media, and you don't have any online brand, no website, those are the types of things that could happen. You should always have a backup plan, and a backup plan is definitely going to be your website. So if you are putting video on your social media, it's good to put it on your website. So whenever we do an event, we always put together a collage video and we put it on our website, and then we also put it on our social media. So making sure you're using video. I think it was said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a video is worth 1,000,000 words. It just has so much punch to it when you could just say something really quickly within 60 seconds, and people don't want to read anymore. So a lot of times they want to see a video because it's a little quicker. I mean, I love to read. I have my degrees in journalism, so I still love words and love to read, but people consume their content differently today. So video is very powerful, and it could definitely work just for most brands.
I definitely agree with the video being very big now, especially with apps like TikTok. It's setting the trend for how everyone gets their information. But I wanted to kind of get your advice, right? What would you say to businesses that may be hesitant to invest in marketing and communications, right? How can they see a positive return on investment for these efforts?
That's a good question, Alyssa. I think that there are a lot of small businesses that really think that, hey, I could do this myself. I'm the one that knows more about my industry. I really don't need any help with this. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? I've been doing this for 17 years. And it's not, for me, it's not just like, I don't just like research things that I share with clients. I actually live through things. I have some colleagues that I trust that we share experiences that our clients have had, that we've had, and that's what makes us better consultants. So when we bring that to the table, working with all these different industries that we've worked with all these years, and also staying on top of as many trends as possible. I'm not just a member of different chambers of commerce. I'm also part of industry organizations where we just really try to stay on top of what's new, what's coming down the pike. And then that changes everything. Like AI is the biggest thing now, right? Everybody's talking about AI. What does that mean for you and your brand? How can you utilize that, or integrate it into your brand? So I think the way we try to convince our clients to why they need marketing, why they need a marketing strategy is, how's business been so far? How do you sustain, if you are experiencing growth, how do you sustain that? How do you keep that growing? Those are all the types of things that we answer. Now, there are some things that you could find out on your own. And that is true, like the University of YouTube, right? Everybody's going, everybody goes there, they try to get their information. But sometimes talking to someone or working with a company that has all this experience, you might take weeks or months to find out something on your own that I could tell you in 5 minutes just from talking to you. And that's because of the 17 years with Light of Gold PR. But previous to this, a lot of IT, a lot of tech, a lot of digital background. So bringing that whole 20 plus years of arsenal with me sometimes changes things. And it allows a company to be able to work faster without having to take the time to research everything on their own, And so that's really how we convince our clients. Potential clients, that they need marketing. It's important. It's an important way to get your product out there, your product or your service, regardless. It's definitely. Or if you have a nonprofit, you still need marketing. You need marketing one way or the other, because everybody's just not going to drop in your lap and just start working with you. You need to still have a way to get the word out there.
I definitely agree, Deborah. as a small business owner myself, it's been 3 years and I'm still like, yeah, I could do it by myself. And I'm like, well, where's the cash flow, Alyssa? So sometimes, we got to put the ego aside and we got to trust the experts and trust that if we invest in ourselves, in our business, that we're going to see the outcome over time, right? You can't expect it immediately. All right. I wanted to know, what are can you share with the audience, what are some of your proudest accomplishments and highlights from your career in public relations, marketing?
Yes, it's definitely has been what I had alluded to earlier is the educational part, just teaching people what they didn't even realize existed, or how maybe something that's been hurting their company. I remember I consulted with a client years ago. This is probably a good 15 years ago. And she had a name for her business. And this is a tough one because a lot of people come up with the names of their companies and they're very married to it. They don't want to change it and everything. But if you are attracting the wrong types of clients because they don't understand what you do, they think you do something. She had that kind of name. She said, I don't know why I keep getting people that are looking for jobs. I do workplace consulting. I said, well, you have jobs in the name of your company. I mean, I was able to convince her to change the name of her company because it was hurting her seriously for years, and she did not know that on her own, and so we had a conversation. We started to pick things apart, and then we realized it was the name. The minute that she changed her name, she started getting clients, the types of clients that she was looking for. So it's those types of things. And I think it's important that I shared that when I consult with the company, when Light of Gold PR works with the company, a lot of times we get hired to do certain things. Within a campaign, it might just be 3 things. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's a digital social media, maybe it could be video. It could be 3 or 4 things within a 2 to 3 month campaign. Here's what we do that we feel is a value add. We're meeting with a client for the first time. They hire us for something specific. There was a food company that wanted us specifically to get catering work for them. And they hired us, they brought us in. We did our initial assessment. They're a large franchise brand, so they're all over the country. So getting special awareness for them so that the business wasn't always going to their competitor, another franchise. We had to be very specific about how we did their marketing. But we walked into their restaurant and they had an electronic cash register. They did everything digitally, and they had 4 people working for them. And then come to realize they were putting in the same orders every single day manually, every day. Well, my tech and IT brain kicked in. And I said, you do realize that all of this can be saved into the system, right? And all you got to do is tap a key and that order, because a lot of the same customers kept coming in every day. So, and they ordered the same thing. So because of that saved productivity across the board for 4 of their workers. They got back about 50% of their time back. And that means that they could work on something else. We weren't hired. We weren't brought in to look at that, but I saw the need. And a good consultant will see the need, will recommend to the client, hey, I know you hired me for this, but if we don't fix this, it's going to hurt this. So let's talk about how we can include this service into your campaign. And let's go ahead and tweak and fix this first. So I'm very proud that we've been able to help customers in all these different ways where we see problems, and we're problem solver. We want to fix it and we want them to be successful. But if they come in with these issues that have to be fixed, either we have to fix it or we'll get someone else who can fix it in order for them to be successful. So I'm very proud that we're able to educate people, and we're also able to fix different issues because we have all these different skill sets. So we just don't do PR alone. We do marketing, we do digital, we do a little bit of IT, a little bit of, video. We do a little bit of everything. So I think that's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, I think it is important to, use the skills you have to help people. That's why you have them and they don't, right? And, giving people their time back, it really helps more than we even realize, because sometimes you feel like you're putting your time and efforts so much into something, you're not seeing the results, maybe because you need the help that you didn't know you need. So thank you for those proud moments that you shared with us. And one more question is, looking ahead, what are some of the biggest trends and challenges that you see facing the marketing industry in the next few years, right? And how is Light of Gold PR marketing and consulting adapting to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. There must be a little tiny bit of a delay. It's all good. But yeah, I think definitely incorporating AI, not being afraid of it, is going to be really, really critical. I think that teaching companies that no, it can't do everything for you, but it could help you in certain ways, but you still have to watch that, because I think a lot of people will turn on Chat GPT, and that's a whole other live that we could do, and they could put certain things in there and then they use it, but they don't check it. They don't check it, and then it has you out there looking crazy because you sound automated, basically, and you think that, it's done all the work for you, but you still have to check it, and so we think that with AI is definitely a big trend. Making sure people's work is protected. That's what all these writer strikes were about. It's like you don't want to keep investing all this time, energy, and creativity just to have your work hijacked all the time. And now it can be used into perpetuity and you don't get a dime for it. That's crazy. So making sure that writers and creatives are protecting themselves, protecting their brands, and making sure that they're doing that, reinventing themselves, is going to be really important. And I think another important trend is sustainability. Sustainability is such a big issue today. Our planet, our environment. How do we look at not spending so much, like throwing things away or throwing things into landfills that's going to keep hurting our world, our country, our air, and everything else. I think sustainability is really important, and making sure that we're consulting with our clients who do that type of work to help them to get to the right clients that understand what they do and the importance of what they do. So that's more along the lines of, social responsibility. So.
Thank you, Deborah, for all your brilliant knowledge, all your tips. And I hope everyone watching really learned something. And maybe if you learned something new, send Deborah some love. Do you mind? I know it's running here, but what's your favorite form of social media to connect with your clients?
Ooh, well, you know what? I am on pretty much everything is Light of Gold PR. So whether it's Instagram or TikTok, you'll see Debra Dixon.lightofgoldpr. Same thing on LinkedIn, Facebook. So you could definitely find me either with my name, Debra Dixon-Anderson, or with Light of Gold PR. You could definitely get a hold of me, or you could just go to our website at lightofgoldpr.com and just hit me up. Let me know if you need anything, a conversation we don't charge for. If it's like a 15-minute to 30-minute conversation, we do that as well. We provide that as a complimentary service, so feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you. And the next couple are just little fun tidbits. So we want to know, before we go, what do you want the community to take away from today's session? Like, what is the biggest message behind our meeting?
I think the biggest lesson is going to be to make sure you plan. Yeah. If you plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I think being intentional requires planning. I also think that being intentional also requires using your calendar, using any kind of reminders that you could get to stay on track with whatever you're trying to accomplish, but making sure you're planning. And, we talked about social media, but overarching, you got to have a plan for everything that you want to do, whether it's going to a networking event, whether it's virtual or in person, whatever, putting things on your website, social media. You really need to have a plan, and the plan, it needs to be intentional. It needs to have a timeline. It needs to have dates. It needs to be on a calendar in order for it to be real, because if it's not, then you forget. And then you go from 1 week, 1 day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next. And guess what? Hopefully next year, a year from now, I'll be on the same lunch and learn, but I don't want to hear the same mistakes. So if you're not being intentional, we're going to be here next year. You're going to be like, wow, I can't get my social media game up. Well, we talked about this a year ago. So making sure you're implementing and putting into action, being intentional and having a plan.
No, okay, that was the perfect summary, because I definitely agree. Most people want to just go things head on and they don't even think about the intention or the goal that they want to have. All right, so we want to know if you have any upcoming events that you want to share or you're working on next.
Well, really excited about the Kwanzaa event that's in partnership with Juneteenth and Athenia Rodney. And I've known Athenia for years now, for about 14 or 15 years. So we're excited about this Kwanzaa event. I, to be honest with you, learned more about Kwanzaa when I was living in Georgia than I did living in New York. And so Kwanzaa is just very important to me. All the principles of Kwanzaa and implementing them into my life is just really important. So we're excited. That's coming up on Friday, December 29th, but it's also really going to be starting on December 26th until January 1st. And we're making sure we're putting together some great virtual events and live events to celebrate Kwanzaa. So super excited about that.
I'm glad you brought up Kwanzaa, because we actually want to know, what does Kwanzaa mean for you, and what are some of your favorite principles behind it?
Yeah, I love Ujama, which is cooperative economics, but I love all of the principles because it's one of those things at the end of the year, like kind of gets you back on track to, what's really important, and I think that's what I love so much. It's like each day you have a different principle to have as your focus for the day, where it's Umoja, which is unity. You have Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics, which is really important for business owners and businesses. Nia is purpose. And then you have Kuamba, which is creativity, and Imani, which is faith. And so all of those principles mean so much, and if you focus on it for each day and have it direct your day, direct your week, your month, your year, it just can make such a big difference. So yeah, that's what I love about it. The fact that it comes at the end of the year, for me, it sets the tone for how I want to end my year and how I want to begin my next year.
This is actually my first time learning about Kwanzaa, so that's really cool to learn those principles. Those are some things that I try to strive for every day, so this should be a year-round celebration, in my opinion. All right, so we're gonna get a little bit more fun, but who's your favorite hip-hop artist?
Oh my God, that's so hard, because I grew up in the South Bronx, home of hip hop. Okay, 50 years this year. That's such a tough call, because growing up, I loved, well, hip hop was different back then. Rap was different. It wasn't the same. So I've been able to see, the whole evolution of it, So I love so many of the artists, whether it's LL Cool J, I love him, even though he's from Queens. but, and I gotta say, I love Jay-Z, Brooklyn, BK. I just have big respect for so many of especially the old school artists that were from back in the day, from the 80s and 90s. I think in the 90s and in the 2000s, they started to like just blow up a little bit more than they did in the 80s. But in the 80s, they set the tone, and back then, hip hop was more about, what was happening in the neighborhoods, but then it changed. It just evolved over time. But yeah, this is so many of them. I really love the majority of them. And hey, let's not forget the ladies. We had Salt and Pepper. They didn't, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't get as much love as they should have, but we have a lot of really good female artists as well. Yeah.
I totally agree. We gotta appreciate the women more. But my mom's favorite is also LL Cool J. I got to see him in concert because I took her one year. He's a pretty talented man, and JC is one of my personal favorites too. So, all right, before we go, we gotta finish up with understanding what does Juneteenth mean to Miss Debra Dixon-Anderson.
Yes. So Juneteenth, what I love about Juneteenth, again, I learned so much about Juneteenth when I was living in Georgia. When I met Athenia and I found out she was doing all these fabulous Juneteenth events, that was just so exciting for me, because the fact that celebrating the importance of when slaves were set free is just, it's just very, very powerful, and it's one of those situations where you think about the impact that it had on African Americans and Black people and what we went through being enslaved and just that emancipation and what it means, what it should mean to society at large, but definitely for African Americans. This is very, very powerful. I love all the celebrations for it because it is a celebration. It means a lot, the fact that it was something that started in Texas, and when it started on June 19th, it's just one of those, just being able to be free. I think if you think in present time, you don't realize the impact of not being free, and then that day of happiness and excitement when you are free. It just is very powerful, and I think that's something that I don't think that we should forget our history. I think it's important because that is part of history. And I think it's just, Juneteenth should be celebrated not just on one day. It's like all the time should be celebrated because there's so much in our society that we wouldn't be able to have or see if Black people were still enslaved, because of all the creations, all of the inventions, everything, how society is impacted, we wouldn't be able to see it. So that's what Juneteenth means for me. It's just very empowering, and it's just something to be appreciated and honored.
I completely agree, Deborah. That was a beautiful summary of, what it means to you. And I totally agree in the fact that we don't even realize the significance nowadays, like of what our ancestors went through, and to be able to even be here today, to be talking to you as a owner and a founder of your own company, being an African American woman, like that's beautiful compared to where our ancestors came from. So I want to commend you for being here today. And I know for sure our listeners got a lot of great gems. So I'm going to meet you in the backstage. We're going to close out our lunch and learn for today. And let's just give her a little round of applause for being here and sharing your
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. So I want to say thank you everyone for tuning in to our lunch and learn today. It was such an honor to be able to host, and we hoped that you found it as informative and uplifting as we did. So don't forget to mark your calendars for next week's replay of Juneteenth NYC's Virtual Friday. And be sure to check out our website for the early bird vendor registration, sponsorship application, and advisory board applications for Juneteenth NYC 2024. It's going to be amazing because, it already is. And if you want to be a part of it, make sure you go fill out those applications now because the slots will be filling up very quickly. And hey, while you're at it, why not just follow, share, subscribe to Juneteenth NYC's YouTube channel and also our social media. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, and let's keep this incredible conversation going by keeping in touch on our socials. All right, bye everyone. Thank you for watching.
Exciting news, New Yorkers! Juneteenth, the celebration of freedom and unity, is just around the corner. Want to be a part of this historic celebration? Now's your chance. Juneteenth applications are now open for the Juneteenth festivities in New York City. It's simple and easy to apply. Just visit our website at www.juneteenthny.com and fill out the form. Can't wait to see it. Make sure you have all your essentials ready. A unique product, your contact info, and a desire to share in this special occasion. Join a vibrant community of vendors and share your talents and culture with thousands of attendees. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Apply now because the world is about to celebrate and you should be a part of it. See you at Juneteenth in New York.